All right. Hi, everybody. This is the lecture for using SMART goals for mental health counseling. My guess is that a lot of you are familiar with what SMART goals are, but I want to show you how they can be used when you are treatment planning and kind of the benefit of using them. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So before we get into what a SMART goal is, why use a SMART goal? When you are doing treatment planning with clients, the treatment planning part was always kind of my favorite part to do because I like to think creatively and figure out like outside of the box things for clients to do. But you want to make sure that the treatments that you are co-creating with your clients are attainable. You want to make sure that your clients are able to do them. You want to make sure that your clients are able to find success. And the best way to do that, I've found, is to devise a SMART goal together or co-create a SMART goal around what treatment is going to look like. So it's definitely a good guideline. It's a roadmap for you to make a treatment plan. It helps you to brainstorm lots of different things with your client, lots of different ideas. We know that there's not just one linear path to treatment. There's lots of things that are going to work and not work depending on you as the clinician, like your area of expertise, or the relationship you have with your client, or your client's willingness to partake in treatment. So this is a good way to help you to brainstorm that stuff. It's super specific, so you get clarification, you get focused, and you get application of resources. So you can tell your clients to do something, and it might be the most sought after research-based, evidence-based treatment in the world, and if your client doesn't have the resources to do it, it's not going to help. So this will help to outline that. And then meaningful. It needs to be meaningful to your client in order to to start the treatment process. Why is treatment meaningful? What is this going to change for them? And then is it working or not working? And by using a SMART goal, you can decide if there's room for improvement or not. So just some terminology before we jump in. You've got goals and objectives. So the difference between a goal and objective, your goal is like your big picture thinking, right? So my goal is I want to have no anxiety by the end of the year. Okay, that's great. So how are you going to get there? So your objectives are those things that you're breaking down in order to get to your goal. So the strategies that you're doing in order to get to your goal. And then short-term versus long-term. So you can define this with your client. You can decide with them what they think is short-term versus what they think is long-term, because we're all going to have different meanings for that time frame, right? So just go with what your client is saying. Your target is the desired level of performance that represents success. So what is your target behavior? How do you know your client is doing this behavior and is feeling successful? And then this is the most important part of a SMART goal, are the measurements. So as a mental health counselor, you want to make sure that clients are getting to where they need to be. You want to make sure that treatment is progressing. You have to remember that you're not just in there talking to your clients, building rapport, building a strong relationship. All of that is very important, but you are doing treatment. So you need to be able to measure that treatment. So here's what SMART stands for. S is specific, M is measurable, A is attainable, R is relevant, and T is time-based. And it tells you under each of those letters what that means. And we're going to go through each of them together through the lens of mental health counseling to help you better understand what a SMART goal in mental health counseling looks like. So when we start with specific, specific is targeted, focused, clear, and easy to understand. What is it that your client wants to achieve by coming to therapy, right? What is their specific goal? What do they want to accomplish? Who is involved in it? Why it is important, and how they will get it done. And I'm going to show you an example at the end with a chart that outlines all of this, in the chart that you can keep with you forever and ever. That's helpful. But just know that under specific, those are the questions that you're wanting to answer. Under measurable, again, this is the important part. This is what makes you a clinician. This is what makes the work that you're doing treatment. So you're tracking progress, you're looking at data and numbers and percentages, you're identifying success, you're making sure it's meaningful, you're making sure it's sensible. You also have data to go back to and say, oh, this isn't working, let's try something else, which is totally okay. So questions that you're thinking about are how much, how many, how am I going to measure progress, and how will I know when it's accomplished, right? We want to make sure that we give our clients something to look forward to. And we want to make sure that we're able to have data to bring them back to say, oh, look at where you were 6 weeks ago and look at where you are now. And that can help with the client's agency to be thinking, oh my God, I'm really getting better. Attainable, this is really important. You want realistic, achievable goals. You want your clients to feel successful. It's okay to have a teeny tiny little goal, right? It's okay to say, I want to decrease my symptoms of anxiety from, super high to just kind of high. Like itty bitty teeny weeny attainable goals are great. And you want to look for the part that's just right. So you're asking, can this be achieved within the given time frame, right? So what is your client's time frame? And this you have to talk about together. As a therapist, you're not putting on them what the time frame is going to be, because they're not going to do it. Like think back to when, you're in school now, right? Or think back to when you were in high school and somebody said to you, oh, you have to do this within a specific time frame, right? You're more likely to do it if you're intrinsically motivated to do it. So you want to co-create this with your client. Does your client have the resources they need? What limitations are in the way? There's always going to be barriers. There's always going to be limitations to treatment, right? But how do we label them and define them and come up with a plan to go through them? And then is this too easy or too hard? Like, let's be real with this goal. Is this something, yeah, I can totally achieve this. This is nothing. Or is this something like, oh, it's my end goal, but it's way too hard. I need to break it down into smaller steps. And then relevant. So you want to make sure that whatever goal, whatever treatment plan you are formulating, that it is in line with the client's diagnosis and with figuring out how to alleviate the client's symptoms. So it needs to be something that's worthwhile, significant, applicable, associated with other goals, and associated with values and beliefs. Right? We want to make sure that clients are doing something that they value, that they believe to be successful. So why does your client want to do this? How will it help your client or someone else in your client's life? How is it in line with the client's other associated goals? And is this the right time, right? We all want to feel good. I believe everybody wants to feel good, but sometimes things come up in our lives and we're not able to do it in that moment. So we want to really have a conversation around, is this the right time? And no, okay, we're just talking about it. Let's talk about when might be the right time. And if yes, it is the right time, then great, let's go for it. But we're never, ever putting guilt or shame on our clients because it's not the right time to start something. These are not our goals. These are our clients' goals. And we're just walking with them on the journey. And then time-based. So this is really important. We want to have a period of time for clients to start each strategy and look at each objective to meet that objective. So your time frame for goal completion, this is something you want to talk about with your clients, right? When do you want to feel better? Are you hoping to feel better a week from now? Are you hoping to feel totally perfect? Like, I don't even think that's a thing, but totally perfect 6 months from now, right? Let's have realistic conversations about that. We can put target dates in there. It creates urgency and commitment, but you want to be careful not to put undue anxiety on your client as well. So once your relationship is formed and you can understand how hard you can push your client, this will be a lot easier. But again, it's just information. It's just room for you and your client to figure this out together. And then you don't want something that's going to happen too soon or something that's way far away, right? So we're going to try this coping strategy and in 2 years, you're going to feel great, right? Nobody's going to do that coping strategy. So the question is to ask, when will this goal be achieved by? Is this time frame realistic? And should it be closer or further in the future? And these are all things to talk to your client about. So let's practice, right? Here's our friend Rita. Rita is 52 years old and identifies as female. She was recently divorced. And the problem that she's presenting with you looks like depressive symptoms. So Rita is saying that she's lacking energy. She's not sleeping well at night at all. She has total insomnia. She's arriving to work late or she's calling out of work because she's so tired she can't get herself there. She used to love exercising, but all of a sudden she no longer enjoys it. And then even though the weather is nice outside and she loves to be outside, she's often been recently staying inside. She just can't get herself to go outside. So when you talk to Rita, when you say, Rita, what are your goals for counseling? What do you want us to work on together? And Rita says, my goal this year is to take better care of my mental health and manage my depression. Okay. Big goal, right? Big goal, and doesn't give you a lot of information. So as the counselor, you can break it down into a SMART goal. So let's start with specific, right? What is the client going to do? Be specific and targeted in this. Okay, Rita is presenting to me with depressive symptoms. I'm going to look for an evidence-based approach to help Rita decrease those depressive symptoms so she can feel better, right? So the 3 strategies I talked to Rita about are exercise, mindfulness, and light therapy. Those are the 3 things that I'm going to help Rita to do. Why will Rita do this, right? Rita's already said she wants to improve her mental health and she wants to feel better. And you learn upon your sessions with Rita that she really loves her family and she wants to spend time with her family. And she's feeling like her depressive symptoms are getting in the way to do that. So the motivation for her is, if I feel better, I'll get to spend more time with my family, which I love. How will Rita do this? She's going to attend therapy once a week, and she has committed to practicing her strategies outside of therapy. So she's going to try these 3 strategies, exercise, mindfulness, and light therapy, outside of the room with you. Who will take the actions and who's the responsibility on? The responsibility is on Rita, right? You can give everybody all the tools in the world, but they need to build their own shed, right? You can talk to Rita for an hour a week, but if Rita doesn't do anything outside of the counseling session, it's not going to change. So you and Rita need to have a conversation about that. So these are the specific goals. Measurable goals. How will you know if Rita's feeling better, right? So Rita is going to self-report. She's going to keep a journal, and she's going to keep a mood scale on 1 to 10 every single day. 1 is, this is terrible. I'm in the worst mood ever. I'm so sad and depressed. And 10 is like, this is the best mood of my life. How many techniques? There's 3 techniques that Rita's going to use, and she's going to practice each technique 3 times per week. So she's going to exercise 3 times a week. She's going to use light therapy 3 times a week, and she's going to practice mindfulness 3 times a week. And then how will Rita know when her client is met, or when her target is met? Sorry. She'll use her strategies to raise her mood 3 to 4 points on her mood scale. So if Rita is coming in and she's journaling her mood scale in the morning and she's a 3, and she decides to go to the gym, and she comes home from the gym and she has a good, workout, and she comes home and she's a 6. Wow, Rita met her target that day, right? So it's measurable. And then attainable. So does your client have the resources to achieve this goal? Does Rita have what she needs? So she has you as the mental health counselor. She has clear instructions of how to journal, when to journal, how to use her mood scale, when to use her mood scale. And she has the time to learn and practice it. This is not perfect, right? It might take a couple weeks to get this going, but that's okay. We got time, Rita. What limitations are in Rita's way? Well, she's got a job. Jobs are very stressful, work stress. She just recently went through a divorce, so that could be adding to her depressive mood, right? So she's got relationship stress. So there's some very real things, some very real barriers and limitations in the way to Rita being successful. This is just a place for you guys to talk about that and to talk about how to kind of overcome those barriers. Is this too easy or too hard? So this is up to your client, right? Rita has agreed on 3 strategies. So 3 strategies it is. You might have another client that wants to do 1 strategy. That's great. You might have another client that wants to do 5 strategies. That's great. It's up to your client to figure this out. And is it within your client's control to achieve these actions? So yeah, Rita said, yep, I'm 100 committed to doing the work at this time. However, if Rita comes back to your next session and says, I couldn't exercise, I didn't try meditation, I didn't do light therapy, we as the counselor are not putting any shame or guilt on Rita. That is not our job, right? Our job is help me to understand what happened, right? And support Rita moving forward. Are the goals relevant? So are these goals, these 3 strategies to help decrease Rita's symptoms of depression, significant and worthwhile? Yes. Rita had said originally her goal was she wanted to get in control of her mental health, right? So managing her depression is critical for that. How will it help her or someone else? She also said she loves her family and she wants to live a fulfilling life with her family. So if Rita can manage her depressive symptoms, she can live a more fulfilling life with her family. Is it in line with her client's values and beliefs? Yes, because Rita is motivated to spend time with her family, because she created that goal and she told you that that is what she values, then yes, this is absolutely in line with her values and beliefs and might in turn give her more motivation to follow through. And is this the right time? Rita says yes. Rita says, I'm going to do the work at this time. If it's not the right time, then we say, okay, let's put it on pause and keep talking about it until it feels like the right time. And then time-based. So we want to be very clear, right? Okay, so Rita, when are you going to start this? I'm going to start tomorrow and I'm going to end it in 30 days. I'm going to try this for 30 days. That's 4 weeks long, right? When will the client measure their progress? At least 3 times a week through journaling and scaling. So you're going to give Rita specific and clear instructions about, I want you to write in your journal 3 times a week, and I want you to do your mood scale in the morning, and then after you do one of your strategies, and see if there's any change. Is the time frame realistic for the goal? Yes. Rita wants to try it for a month. Again, you co-created that with her. That's great. Some clients are going to want to try something for a week and come right back to you and report out. That's great too, as long as you construct those together. And should the time frame be closer, further, shorter, or longer, Rita is feeling like the time frame is appropriate. But maybe when Rita comes back next week and you discuss what progress has been made, it's like, no, I need more time to do this. Great. Then you just go in and you change the goal. All of these SMART goals are changeable. They are all co-constructed with you and the client. So here's what happened, right? Rita went from her prior goal of saying, my goal this year is to take better care of my mental health and manage my depression, to her SMART goal. Starting tomorrow and for the next 30 days, I will learn 3 strategies to ease my depressive symptoms. These are exercise, mindfulness, and light therapy. I will practice each strategy 3 times per week to increase 2 to 3 points on my mood scale. So can you see the difference between the prior goal and the SMART goal? To me, the prior goal feels like this big, huge mountain that I have to climb. And it feels like the responsibility is totally on me to manage my depression with no help. In the SMART goal, right, it's saying, oh, I got 30 days. I'm going to try out these 3 things. I'm going to practice them. I'm going to see what it does in my mood scale. And then we're going to go from there. Any questions, please let me know.